She ran that night under the silver gaze of the full moon, her heart pounding like a drum, her small cloak flapping against her body. One night, just one night, had changed everything. Sultan Aram had looked at her as if she were the only woman in the world, with eyes that burned with desire, a tenderness no one else had ever known. That night, he had loved her as though the sun would never rise again, and then she discovered it. She was carrying his child. Fear froze her. What would he do when he found out? Send her to Lorraine? Condemn the baby? End its life to avoid scandal? Her mind raced with every cruel possibility. That night, trembling beneath the stars, she chose escape. She fled the palace of Topkapi in Istanbul with nothing but a dark tunic, a woolen shawl, and a secret that could destroy them both. 4 years later, the past caught up with her. In the dusty golden air of a tiny village in Cappadocia, deep in the heart of Anatolia, summer burned like fire against adobe houses. It was 1880, and the heat seemed to melt the stones themselves. Selma closed her eyes for a moment, feeling sweat trickle down her spine as her rough, calloused hands kneaded the dough across a wooden table, its surface worn smooth by years of labor. 4 years, 4 long, careful years since that night. 4 years since she had fled the grand palace, fleeing not only the splendor, but the danger that came with it, the danger of her secret growing silently within her. "Mama! Mama!" Deniz's small voice pierced the air. The boy ran barefoot across the yard, his tiny feet kicking up clouds of dry earth, his dark curls glinting under the merciless sun like a raven's wing. And his eyes, those amber eyes, the ones she feared and adored at once, reflected a fire she could not escape. "Don't think about him," Selma whispered fiercely to herself, trying to shove the memory like a glowing ember back into the shadows. But it was impossible. Every gesture of her son, every tilt of his chin, every steady look of those amber eyes mirrored Sultan Aram. "Come here, my love," she called, bending to scoop Deniz into her arms. He smelled of soil, sunlight, and innocence. "What did you see now?" she asked, smoothing his tangled hair. "Horse! Mama, so many horses! They come from far away. Uncle Mehmet says it's an important caravan. He says the Sultan is coming." Her heart froze. The bread slipped from her hands, thudding against the table. Her pulse thundered so loudly she was sure Deniz could hear it. "No, not now, not here." "Mama, are you okay?" His tiny voice pulled her back. "Yes, my love," she forced a smile, hiding the tremor in her hands. "Just surprised. Go wash up for dinner." As Deniz ran toward the well, Selma sank onto the wooden bench, legs too weak to hold her. 4 years, 4 long, careful years since that night. 4 years since she had fled the grand palace, fleeing not only the splendor, but the danger that came with it, the danger of her secret growing silently within her. Closed her eyes, and the memory crashed over her. The palace rose in her mind like a vision, moonlit rose gardens, the intoxicating scent of night jasmine, and him, Sultan Aram, so imposing, so beautifully cruel with his perfectly trimmed dark beard, eyes like molten amber, seeing right into her soul. She whispered to herself through the tears threatening to spill, "Just one night, and it gave me everything, then took it all away." That night, she had been simply Selma, the young servant of the palace gardens, not an object, not a titleless concubine, but a woman. And he had been Aram, a man tormented by the isolation of absolute power, searching for something real in a world of gilded lies and hollow reverence. But when she discovered her pregnancy, fear rooted her in place. What would he say? Would he condemn her? Send her to Lorraine? Condemn the baby? End its life to avoid scandal? Her mind raced with every cruel possibility. Now, standing at the threshold of her modest home, watching the horizon bleed with the sun descending into hues of orange and purple, Selma saw the rising column of dust in the distance. Horses, carriages, banners. He was coming. After 4 long years of searching, She had always known in the depths of her heart that he would not give up. Sultan Aram was coming to find her, and with him would come a choice that could change their lives forever. Flee once more, or face the man who had never ceased to haunt both her dreams and nightmares. "Deniz! Deniz!" Her small face clean, his eyes wide. "Mama, why are you crying?" She blinked back tears, brushing them quickly away, taking his hand in hers. "I'm not crying, my love, just the wind blew dust into my eyes." But they both knew it was a lie. The wind of fate was blowing straight toward them, carrying the past that Selma had fought so hard to bury. And this time, there would be no escape.
Spring 1876. Topkapi Palace, Istanbul. The full moon hung like a giant pearl over the Bosphorus, its silver light spilling across the imperial gardens like liquid silk. Selma, only 22 at the time, moved quietly among the rose bushes, her wicker basket collecting fallen petals for the next day's rosewater. The scent of jasmine mingled with the perfume of damask roses, creating a fragrance so dense it seemed almost tangible. From afar, the golden domes of the palace glimmered, and the gentle trickle of fountains created a hypnotic melody. Selma cherished these moments alone in the night gardens, away from critical eyes and palace gossip, where she could simply be herself, where she could dream. "Do you not fear the darkness?" The voice was deep, smooth as velvet. Selma spun around, dropping her basket, petals scattered across the grass like blood. Emerging from the shadows of a stone arch stood him, Sultan Aram. Her heart stopped. She immediately lowered her gaze, kneeling, forehead almost touching the earth. "Forgive me, my Sultan. I did not know your Majesty would be here. I shall depart at once." "Wait." The word was soft, but carried the weight of absolute authority. "Do not leave. I have seen you here every night for months, gathering flowers as if you were a spirit. Every night I wander these gardens, searching for something I cannot name, and every night I find you, like a secret the garden keeps just for me." Selma lifted her eyes, astonished. The Sultan had noticed her, a lowly servant, without title, without extraordinary beauty, nothing to offer the most powerful man in the Ottoman Empire. Their eyes met, and in that instant the universe seemed to shift. Aram's amber eyes were intense, penetrating, tinged with sadness, a loneliness she recognized because it mirrored her own. The solitude of being surrounded by people, but utterly alone. "Rise," he said softly. "Tonight I am not your sultan. I am merely Aram, a man tired of ceremonies, of reverence, of empty words. Speak to me as if I were just a man." Selma rose slowly, heart hammering in her chest. I am not sure I can, my sultan. You are the sun, and I am barely a shadow." "The sun is alone in the sky, and the shadows are all that accompany it. Tell me your name." "Selma," she whispered, cheeks aflame. "Selma," he repeated, savoring it. "It means peace, tranquility. That is what you are, my peace." They spoke for hours, sitting on a marble bench, surrounded by the perfume of flowers and the song of nightingales. They were no longer sultan and servant. They were Aram and Selma, two lonely souls finding solace in one another. He spoke of his gilded prison, the heavy decisions that affected millions, the childhood in isolation, trusting no one. She spoke of her mountain village, her fallen family, and dreams of freedom like birds flying over the Bosphorus. "All of us have cages," Aram said softly, taking her hand. "Mine are of gold, yours of circumstance. But tonight we can pretend we are free." And then he kissed her. It was tentative at first, almost fearful, but when Selma responded, arms wrapping around his neck, it became desperate, profound, like two drowning souls finding air. Under the moonlight, amidst roses and jasmine, they surrendered completely, body, heart, and soul. When dawn painted the sky pink and gold, Selma rose silently. Aram slept, finally at peace. She memorized every detail of his face, then fled. That night had been stolen, and stolen dreams always demanded a price. 3 weeks later, when her period didn't come, when nausea and sensitivity overtook her, Selma understood the cost. She carried his child. Fear consumed her, yet she could not turn back. She fled across Anatolia, enduring brutal travel in ox-drawn carts, sleeping beneath stars, surviving on bread and olives, each day feeling the life inside her grow stronger. Eventually, she arrived in Cappadocia, renting a small adobe home on the edge of a village, unknown to anyone. She became simply Selma, the solitary baker, and when Deniz was born on a cold winter night, she gazed into his amber eyes and knew she had made the right choice. "I will protect you," she whispered, cradling him, "always. Even if I must hide you from the world, even if I must give up everything, I will keep you safe." 4 years passed, 4 years of sunrise and toil, of quiet devotion and secret longing, of amber eyes reflecting the father he had never known. The day came when destiny could no longer wait. The imperial caravan churned golden dust into the summer air, banners of purple and gold streaming like fire, horses' hooves drumming against ancient stones. Sultan Aram led, clad in ceremonial robes, his amber eye scanning, heart pounding with hope and fear intertwined.
The village appeared, a honey-colored mosaic of adobe homes and narrow streets, and there she was, in the corner market, arranging freshly baked bread in wicker baskets. Simple, hard-working hands, hair braided plainly, her shawl draped over her shoulders. He saw her before she saw him. 4 years, 4 years of searching, imagining every scenario, and now frozen, unable to breathe. Selma turned. Their eyes met across the crowded market. Time itself seemed to shatter. She dropped the bread, face ash-colored, lips parting in silent disbelief. Tears welled instantly. "Mama! Mama, look! The Sultan is here!" Deniz ran into the square, oblivious to the awestruck crowd. And when he lifted his gaze toward Aram, the Sultan's heart stopped. Amber eyes, exactly like his own, the same golden hue, the same almond shape, the same strength and pride. "Deniz," Selma whispered, clutching him protectively. "Deniz," Aram's voice cracked after 4 long years. "Deniz, please, tell me I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing." Tears fell freely from Selma's cheeks. She could only whisper, "My Sultan." In those words were fear, love, regret, and hope, all intertwined. Aram stepped closer, extending his hand. "Let me be in your lives. Let me know my son. Let me care for you as I should have from the beginning." Selma hesitated, then slowly reached toward him, and in that moment the long years of separation, fear, and longing began to dissolve. The past and future collided, creating a fragile bridge of possibility. Deniz played quietly, unaware of the monumental reunion unfolding around him, while Aram and Selma, hearts laid bare, began the delicate task of rebuilding a family torn apart by fear and love. The sun blazed over Cappadocia, golden dust swirling in the air, and in that quiet adobe house, 3 lives, mother, son, and father, stood at the threshold of a new beginning,
a life born of one night, yet destined to last forever.